no, we want his head. And so Tasha and her crew, they're like, oh, that's your thing. Well, yeah, sure, we'll go get him.
We don't want him.
And Worf is stuck between his fellow jacked up forehead people and the sweet late 80s, early 90s hairstylings of Tasha. He's like, I don't know what to do. The little kid wanders into this very tense situation.
Mexican standoff.
And Chorus picks her up, just kind of like
what is this?
And Tasha's like, this is a hostage situation. But that little girl just like eyeballs Chorus, just like if you watch it, like she doesn't break gaze like at all. She doesn't seem scared. She
doesn't know enough to be
scared.
She
just eyeballs him, and Chorus is like, I don't know what to do. And the kid's like, make a move, hotshot. I fucking dare you. And Chorus like just gives her to Worf, like I can't fucking deal. No, dude, humans are hard. No wonder you like them. So
lesson learned. Credits.
Gives the kid to Worf. And they're taken to a security cell, and Worf is all like, that's racist, thinking that we take a hostage. And
she's like...
Tasha's like, I didn't know, and she's like, it's racist. You're racist.
Do you think it's racist?
No.
I don't think it's racist.
I mean, like, for sure. Like, I mean, Tasha should know that Klingons don't take hostages.
That's true. She's a Starfleet graduate.
Like, I mean, that seems like a pretty common...
Yeah, but in the heat of the moment, you see a kid get grabbed, like, you just want to save the kid.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Maybe you, but you don't have the training that Tasha Yar supposedly has. So Worf doesn't really want to give them up because he knows that they'll get executed, which I guess the Klingons is like a total, like, asshole way to go out.
Yeah, you don't want... Yeah, even the guy who's gonna execute him is like,
my hands are tied.
Hands are tied. I don't want to do this. Execution is a shitty way to do it, and it weakens us all.
And Worf is like, send him to... He named some planet.
Yeah, send him to the spice mines of Kessel.
Which I guess is like a death planet. Like, they'll have to fight, like, you know, like it's like after Earth planet.
Yeah, exactly. They'll have to fight Will and Jaden.
Meanwhile, they're busting out of the security cell. Conmel kills Ramos, who I know the name of because he says it. He's like, this is Security Officer Ramos. We got a situation here. But then he gets got when an unnamed... This is fucked up because this unnamed security officer, like, dodges a phaser blast and it kills Conmel. Chorus avenges this homie's death, though, and rolls into Warp Core, threatening to blow it up. Boom! Worf talks to him, and he's like, and Chorus is like, join me and we'll rule the universe.
As
like
father and son.
Like, here's the thing, it's like, dude, like, you're two Klingons, and, like, Klingons are, like, badass, right? Like, you know, they're supposed to be really hard.
But there are hundreds of people on this ship.
But, like, you know what's also more badass than two Klingons?
What?
Like, 3 Klingons. And, like, true. 4 Klingons. They play, like, it's like, you're only 2 dudes. Like, what? I mean...
What are you going to do?
Like, you can fuck some shit up for sure, but, I mean, eventually, it's like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
You're going to run out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, like, eventually you guys are going to... You're gonna get
that's all a Klingon really wants is a good death.
I guess so, yeah. Chorus says, I have tasted your heart, which, I mean, it has got to be a Dashboard confessional lyric at this point.
When you texted me that, I'd forgotten that the line was in the episode, and I thought you were playing an impromptu game of God or Lover for a second. And I sat there and I was like, oh wait, that's Star Trek.
I have tasted your heart. That's so badass.
It is a badass line.
Like, what is
You've got to say that to, like when you get married, that's got to be in your vows.
Yeah, for sure.
I have tasted your heart.
Anyone listening to this who knows me personally, especially any of those who are getting married in the near future, I call dibs on that line.
Yeah.
If you say this line during your vows...
During an unspecified date in October...
I will make a scene. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, Worf shoots Chorus, does the eyeball...
And Chorus, like...
Yeah, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, he falls through several layers of engineering glass.
He does the eyeball screaming thing, and then gets invited by Kanera to join the Klingons after his tour of duty.
Right.
And he's like, thank you, sir.
That would be dope, perhaps.
And then he tells Picard, he's like, I was just joking, I was just being polite about that. And Picard's like, oh, okay. He's like, commendable. And then he's like, no, seriously, I have no intention of leaving the Enterprise. And
I
Picard's
like it here.
Carter's like, all right, chill the fuck out, dude. We get it.
No, he's like, well, it wouldn't be the same without you, I guess.
I guess. Is he going to keep being weird like this? And Riker's like,
I don't know.
and they look at Tasha, she's like, obviously, I don't know anything about Klingons.
Even though she and Worf are buddies.
Yeah.
Like, weren't they going on leave together in the episode where the 101?
Yeah.
Well,
Shaka.
they were going to play racquetball or something.
They were going to play doctor.
Yeah. And, I thought they were buddies. So she should know about Klingons. Because she could be like, oh, can I touch your hair? And shit like that.
And he's like, that's super offensive. You know that, right? She's like, oh, have you heard of the new Klingon music? Like, what makes you seem like listen to Klingon music? Like, oh no, I mean, that's just what I listen to. I'm just trying to make conversation.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just what I like.
Racquetball, bocce. Arsenal Freedom, our last episode. The USS Drake is missing. Bum bum bum. The Capitan of that ship, his name is Paul Rice. He's described as a risk taker by Riker, a real badass. I mean, this is the part where we're talking about Riker's
a little smiley.
He gets he seems skeevy, but it's like, what are you being skeevy about?
He's not being skeevy.
Exactly.
It's just something weird about his face.
Like he's like
that's just how his face looks.
He thinks it's like really cool. He has the same face
whenever he's describing the Picard maneuver.
Exactly, and it's like, what are you doing? Maybe he's like, I've got a boner and I don't know how to hide it.
I'm just so happy.
They head to the planet that it was last seen at. They find no life, but yet something is hailing it. And they're like, what is it? It's Vince Chevali, who is one of those like, oh, that guy's in this actors.
Yep.
I know he was in Batman Returns.
That's right. He had the monkey, right?
Yeah, he was the organ grinder.
Right.
And I know he's been in a million other piece of shit, a million other things.
But Batman Returns is the thing that really stands out to me too.
But he's like one of those like, oh, I know that guy. He was in
whatever.
I know that
asshole.
It's a video message. It's a recording, and he's like some kind of arms dealer. Yeah, he died of lung cancer.
Rest in peace. Gone too
like
soon.
2005, I think.
December 26th, he's like, Christmas!
Well, he's like, I'll give you one more Christmas with me.
And then I'm out. Klingon style. I'm an empty shell, disposable.
So just fucking, toss me, like a
Whataburger cup.
Yeah, well, maybe
when I am empty, dispose of me properly.
Don't litter. Don't mess with Texas.
No.
But,
recycle me.
I mean, don't bother burying me or do anything ritualistic like that. I don't care. Riker, Tasha, and every time I read this, I always want to say data.
Data?
Because that's how I pronounce it.
Data.
I thought, well, I mean,
how you actually pronounce
a data file.
Right.
Data. They beam down, and they're snooping around when Captain Rice pops out of nowhere.
They're snooping around on a cheap jungle set. It looks like set design has not evolved much since the original series.
And this is also kind of one of those guys where, I recognize that guy from something.
Who was it?
He's little bit parts here and there.
He's got some Edward James Olmos going on.
Yeah, he
in his
definitely
face.
does.
He's got that scarred up badass look.
He's almost Edward James Olmos. He's in Edward James Almost. So he pops up out of nowhere and he's like, "Sup, homie? What's up, Riker?" And Riker's like, ready for a chill bra sesh.
Yeah.
And Rice is acting weird though, and he's asking questions about the Enterprise, what kind of weapons you got, how fast can it go, how big is its dick, and it's like, what do you do? What?
So Riker starts talking nonsense back,
and he's like, "You're not
He's like,
you're not making any sense, dude. Just fucking tell me what kind of weapons you have." And Riker's like, "You haven't used my first name once, dude. We were homies in college. You're a dick."
Yep.
Then you realize it's probably because it's not actually Rice.
He's like, wait a minute.
Oh, it's not. He would remember me. He'd remember who I was.
Yeah,
I was the creepy dude who smiled at inappropriate times.
You can tell when I had an erection because I would always. I'm doing it right now, bro.
And Tasha's like, smile? He's like, yeah!
He just turns the smile on her, just slowly turns his head.
And yeah, so those suspicions are confirmed when some floating gold robot shows up.
Yeah.
It traps Riker in some energy field before Tasha blows it up.
And he's still stuck in it.
Yeah, he's still stuck in it. And they're not sure. They ask,
so they draw dicks on his face.
Like put shaving cream on his hands and tickle his face with a feather. Well, they were worried that he might be dead because Data's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know everything. You guys think I know everything. I don't know everything.
That's sweet.
I know a lot of things.
I don't know everything.
I don't know everything.
If it's not on Wikipedia, I don't know it.
You want me to know stuff, edit the Wikipedia page.
Update the pages.
I mean, like, that stuff just gets refreshed in my
100 times a second.
In my CPU.
Right.
Like, every day. So every time Wikipedia knows something, I know something. So if you want to know Friends Riker's dead, edit his page. And,
Please don't put false information on there. It could be a life or death situation.
Otherwise, I'll look like a dick.
Like when you guys said that Paul Hogan won Best Actor for Crocodile Dundee
2. I look like a real asshole.
At the state dinner.
At that bar trivia night. Picard decides to get his hands dirty for once.
He
twice.
does it a lot.
He's only done it twice.
Oh, okay. That's a lot for never leaving the bridge.
He gets his hands dirty, heads down to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Troy's like, I don't think this is a good idea. And he's like, I don't give a fuck what you think. Him and Dr. Crusher head down, and Data tells him that the robot was some kind of interrogation machine. Like it shows up as somebody that you trust and gets the information it needs.
Right.
And once it's found out, it traps you in the beam. So I guess something even more intense can show up to interrogate you.
I guess.
And they start the process to free Riker, but another robot shows up. Picard and Crusher fall into a pit.
Yep.
And she gets all fucked up. So
she breaks her leg, I think.
Well, she gets herself hurt pretty bad.
She's in a bad way.
Like she can't move, and Picard has to. The roles are reversed.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about this episode. I liked those two characters kind of being stuck in this situation. I know you weren't crazy about this one. I kind of liked this one.
I didn't like the payoff.
The payoff is kind of cheap, but we got a lot of great character stuff.
I like the stuff with Geordi for sure. Which we'll get into. Tasha and Data destroy the second robot, and they free Riker, but none of the communicators work. Geordi's he's ready to beam them back up, but something invisible attacks the Enterprise.
Right.
And so they have to put the shields up, which obviously, if you know anything about Star Trek, can't use a transporter if your shields are up.
Mm-hmm.
The ship's taking a beating, and can't take much more, and so this engineering dude, Logan, shows up.
He's like, I outrank you, give me the ship.
Yeah, he tells Geordi, he's like, dude, you need to fucking leave.
Dip out.
You need to dip out. That's actually exactly what I have written down. Tells Geordi to dip out. And,
I know your hand gesture for dip out. I saw you doing it.
And LaForge is all like, no. Like, straight up just like, no.
No.
And Logan's like, yeah, I outrank you. And Geordi's like, ask me if I give a shit.
I was put in charge. Were you put in charge?
Oh,
Did they say, oh, Logan, you run the ship?
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed the part where Picard's like, hey, engineering Logan, come up to the bridge for a second. And then he came up to the bridge, and then the captain was like, hey, well, I'm down on this planet. You're in charge. I must have missed that when Picard was putting me in charge, you little dick. Yep. He tells him to fuck off back to engineering. And this whole time, Troy's staring at Geordi with her empath eyes.
Yeah, with those fucking beady ass... No, they're not beady. They're very large eyes.
Always staring, always looking.
Taking notes with her eyes.
So Geordi tries to use math to combat their invisible foe, but like always, math fails.
Math always fails.
The shields are failing, so Geordi has to make a choice. He calls Logan back, and he's like, you're taking command. And Logan has this little smirk. He's like the douchiest smirk on his stupid face. He's like, oh yeah, of the saucer section, separado.
Boom.
Mission separado. I
fooled you.
What is I prima nocta? What is it?
Prima nocta. Like I get to fuck the
wife. I invoke separado. Is what he says. I invoke separado. And so they warp to a safe location, separate.
Right, they use the effects from the pilot. It's pretty much the same shots, but whatever. It's always cool.
Yeah, it's always cool. And then the bottom half goes back to go get some revenge.
It always looks so weird without its head.
It does.
It looks like a headless chicken running around. But whatever, it's so cool.
Was it it was in Heart of Glory, where the Klingons are asking Worf what's up with this ship, and he's like, oh, it actually separates, and when the battle bridge is actually a really fucking dope battleship,
right?
Which and so at this point I'm like, all right, we're gonna see some shit.
Yep.
And so there's a moment where Troy gets Geordi off to the side, and she's like, "Look, you're